angels exist? Are healing miracles real? Is there life after death? Can people get supernatural help from another dimension? Has the future been written in advance? Sid Roth has spent 25 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid on this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. You see, many people that speak about miracles, that's all they do, is they speak about miracles. And then you have the phony baloney variety. They're nothing more than sleight of hand, magicians. But you can't have a counterfeit unless you have the real thing. My guest, Randy Clark, has traveled all over the world and seen. Randy, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I believe you have either seen or heard of every miracle we read about in the days that Jesus walked in the flesh.
Yes.
And tell me about that day you were just thinking about how blessed you were that you are not one of these variety of religious people that thinks that miracles are from the past or they've stopped, but you believe in miracles, and you're so grateful to God that you believe in miracles, and God spoke to you. What did he say?
So what?
He really talked like that to you?
Yeah, it so what shocked me. I was sitting at the desk, and I was a pastor of a Baptist church, sitting in the office, and I said, God, I'm glad I'm not a liberal. I believe that you did supernatural things. I'm glad I'm not the cessationist that believes that you stopped doing, and I believe you still do. And I was waiting for a well done, thou good and faithful servant, proud of you, son. And what I heard real clear was, so what? And it so shocked me, I said, what do you mean, so what? And then the next thing was so clear, he said, you might as well be a liberal or a cessationist to say that you believe in these things, but you don't know how to move in them.
Now, what did you do with a word like this? Did you say, so what? Or did you do something?
Yeah, I went out and I bought hundreds of dollars worth of books, and I started going to conferences where I could start learning everything from the Pentecostal to charismatic Catholic theologians. I was reading everything I could to try to learn how to flow in the gifts of the Spirit, particularly words of knowledge and healing and prophecy was what I was particularly wanting to learn.
You know, when I think of you, I think of someone that hears a word from God, says it with your mouth, and then all over the audience, people are instantly healed. There was a conversation you had on the telephone which a light bulb went on with words, it's called words of knowledge. Knowledge from not your brain, but from God about what he has already done, and by stating it out loud, it gives someone the faith to reach into the invisible world. But you had a conversation on the telephone. Tell me about that.
Well, I found out that there was a church called the Vineyard at that time they were really amongst the best at training people, equipping them to learn how to flow in the gifts of the Spirit. So I called that church, and there was a guy who'd just been kicked out of another denomination because he'd been a pastor and he started moving in the gifts of the Spirit, and he got kicked out. And so he was doing an internship there, and he said, do you believe in words of knowledge? And I said, yes. It's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8. And he said, well, it's good you know the address, but do you know how to move in it? I said, no. And he said, well, let me tell you, here, based on just a sociological study of the people we've interviewed who flow in that gift, we found that you can feel a pain that's not yours. You can have an impression of a name of a disease that could come to your mind. You could see actually an organ of the body, or you could see how somebody was injured, like in a daydream thing and going on in your mind.
Could you picture if a medical doctor had this type of gifting rather than this multiple guess?
Yeah. And we've had quite a few doctors go with us overseas. They love ministering to people in the natural, medical arts, but they want to add to that. And we've had numbers of doctors go with us, and research scientists and stuff.
Tell me all right, so this fella, you have a telephone conversation. and it's like light bulbs go on. Oh, is that what's going on? Tell me the first time you had this word of knowledge and you spoke it out and you saw results.
We were praying for somebody at a distance, that we weren't with them. And while we were praying for this person at a distance, which is what, if churches do pray for the sick, that's a lot they do. They just pray at home. While they're at home, they pray at the church for them. And while I was doing that, I had a slight, well, not slight pain, but a quick pain, split second in my eye. And I was scared that it wasn't God, or I didn't know if it was God or not. And could this be what that guy just told me about 4 days earlier? So on a Sunday night, I went to the pulpit and said, I think there may be somebody here who might have something possibly wrong with her right eye.
Just trying to protect yourself,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And then somebody stood up and said, that's me. I have tunnel vision. And she was 67 years old and was losing sight and had tunnel vision. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I got the cart before the horse, because I know how to get the words of knowledge, but we haven't had the team come in to teach us how to pray for the sick. So I don't know how to pray for the sick. And so I got a word of wisdom then. And I felt like, okay, come up here. And then I said, I want everybody in the church to come up here. And I thought, if this doesn't work, they're not going to blame me by myself. We'll all share the blame. And so I said, everybody, we're all going to pray for you. And we prayed for her. And long story short, she was healed. And her eye opened up. She didn't have tunnel vision anymore. And that was the very first word I ever had.
And you know what I notice is sometimes these words expand and people know things about people. Like, it's not just someone has a pain in the eye. You were in a car accident 4 years ago and getting
Yes.
And when they get that specific, it's just like they can reach into that invisible world. Well, let me tell you what happened to Randy. This gift started increasing, but then all of a sudden, it just seemed nothing was going on in his life. And he said, I got to get real serious with God. And he went to a meeting, and there was an outpouring of God's presence that totally changed his destiny, his life. And now, not only do miracles happen when he speaks, but other people then start operating in the same gifting. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this word.